everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 12th, 2023. Next week, Nikki gets needled in the neck. We have got to all tune in for that. I don't care where you're going to be next week. Find a way to watch Nikki get needled in the neck. Oh, yeah. I love that Claire is going to overpower Nikki with just one hand on one of her shoulders and one precise jab. Ooh. Yes. Needle Nikki Newman in the neck. Yes. Needle Nikki Newman in the neck. Yes. It sounds like an old children's nursery rhyme or something. Needle Nikki Newman in the neck. Yes. Ooh. Let me tell you, I would very much like to needle a Newman in the neck after what they did to Nate last week. Man. Okay, if Ellen gets to be Adam's attorney, then I would like to announce that I will be here representing one Nathan Hastings Jr. in the case of the Newmans versus Nate. Your Honor, I submit that this is bogus. It's balderdash, poppycock, horse feathers. How can it be? My client simply suggested that Mr. Newman were to seek medical attention in a medical facility and that his co-CEO should fill in while the treatment was being received. Okay, as soon as Victor said, well, Nate, who do you think should take over the company while I'm in the facility? I immediately thought, oh, it's a trap, Nate. Just shut up, Nate. Don't say another word until I can get down to Newman Tower with my briefcase and my nerdy glasses and my updo. You have the right to remain silent, darling. Oh, Lord. I mean, seriously. What the hell? Do you think that this is fair at all? Go to yrchat.com this week to cast your vote on this. I feel like this has got to be one of the most egregious and unjust firings ever. Victor is probably going to even try to dispute Nate's unemployment claim. But I'm going to be there as his attorney to help him through it. I just don't get it. I just don't get how we made the leap from Victor asks Nate for medical help, and then Nate arranges for Victor to get medical help. How do we get from there to Nate's a traitor and he's just trying to get Victor out of the way so that Victoria can seize power again? I mean, it's just, how do we get there? It is complete, unfounded lunacy. Lunacy, I say. It would have been just as easy for Victor to have made the leap of saying that Adam was the betrayer for hiring the psychologist and that Adam was just building a case to have him declared unfit so that he could take over the company. It's all unfounded. It's all baseless. It's all madness. A complete and total machination. Frankly, I am more concerned about Victor's mental health than ever. He is crazy. He is crazy. And he's really cruel, by the way. Faking your own illness to find out who loves you the most. Letting your loved ones suffer, thinking they were going to lose you. Oh yeah. Nate's the real betrayer here. Nate's the one we should be suspicious of. Whatever. The joke's on you, Victor, anyway, because I prefer Nate working at Chancellor Winters. I kind of like the idea that Nate will go back there and get up under Devon's skin. I'm okay to go back to that, the Nate versus Devon. And step one on the road to that has already been completed this week. Step one is truce. And I really have to say, I love that Devon and Nate are having a truce now, or have called a truce, or have made some headway on their relationship. There was this really great moment when Devon told Nate that he was at home one day and Dom did something really cute, and he had an instinct to send Nate a photo of it, or to tell Nate about it. And then he had to stop and remind himself that he and Nate weren't friends anymore, that they weren't close anymore. And I thought, oh, that was so real. That felt like, just something that would really, really happen. Oh, the instinct is to share, but then you realize, I hate him. And then Devon goes, hey, I've been carrying around this baggage of resentment for you for a while now. And you know what? I just like to put it down. Yes, that's so great, because carrying around resentment for someone or about something really is like carrying baggage. And then you realize after a while, this is so heavy, just dragging this around everywhere. And then it dawns on you, oh, well, yeah, I could just put this down. I love that. I just thought that was so cool. And I also loved that Devon said he could hear Neil saying, the whole conversation is taking place with Neil's portrait in the background. And Devon says, I can just hear Neil saying, give the man another chance. As Devon was given another chance by Neil, too. And Neil was given many other chances. Give the man another chance. He's just not that person anymore. I'm all in. I say, give Chancellor Winters to the Winters. Let Nate be a part of it. Lily and Devon and Nate all in on Chancellor Winters. Kick Jill out of there. Let's just make Mamie's dream come true. I'm fine with that. But what will become of Nate and Victoria's personal relationship if he's gone from Newman Enterprises? Because their relationship was based on all that day-to-day sexiness, like the fact that they could work together on a project and then come together and then do it. There was a very day-to-day aspect, like tension reliever aspect to their relationship, which is going to be gone now. And on top of it, Nate is really ticked off at Victoria for not taking his side on the suggested plan of treatment for Victor, which I think is a little unfair. I don't think she was as much siding with Adam as siding with her family and the morals and ideals that she's always been raised with for that family. Victoria was born and bred into this basically royal family. The Newmans do not operate under the same rules as the peasants, right? They would rather turn Newman Enterprises and the ranch into a makeshift medical facility than go to an actual medical facility and risk the press finding out. Weakness? We can't possibly. We must save face at all costs. That's the price of being a Newman. And Nate told Victoria that he just should have expected her quote, blind obedience to Victor. And that's true. Blind obedience. That is such a great descriptor. Victoria will always be more loyal, even on gut instinct, knee-jerk reaction. She will always be more loyal to her family and to her family's company than to anyone else, even if it is her mate. And I think that's the fatal flaw, maybe, the crux of her character. It's what's made her an incredible business success, but it's also what's left her cold sometimes and alone. And maybe that's where she's destined to end up back to, although you never know. I find it interesting to consider why Claire has been sniffing around Nate. Claire's been sniffing around Nate, trying to schedule some time with him during after work hours. I understand. I would make up any damn excuse I could to meet with him on a personal level. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe Claire's gonna, hold Nikki hostage or whatever, or have her being held, and maybe Claire will go to Nate looking for an ally, and maybe Nate will be the one to rescue Nikki and redeem himself in the eyes of the Newman family. Or, even better, maybe Nate will team up with Claire for some actual revenge on the Newmans. Maybe give them an actual reason to hate him. Ugh. After everything that Victor just did, Nick is actually considering going back to Newman Enterprises. Oh, gosh, Victor's children are like hostages with Stockholm Syndrome or something. How many times do they have to learn? How many times do they have to be burned? Why do they always have to keep going back to the flame? I suppose it's fine. I mean, seeing Victoria and Nick and Adam working at Newman Enterprises for the rest of their days, I guess that works if there's drama to be had, but, well, what about Nick's new business with Sharon? Are we just going to be done with that? Nick decides to go back to Newman, and I don't know, maybe in the wake of Chance's shooting, Sharon will decide to go back to a less stressful business like Crimson Lights. I don't know, though, because as Phyllis said on Friday, for Sharon, it's always and only all about Nick. You think that's true? I don't quite think so. I think that's Phyllis's justification. But, yeah. Sharon did have a very measured reaction to Chance's shooting. I mean, there was no, like, bedside crying, hand-holding. Like, Sharon didn't really get that much time with Chance by his bedside. Summer certainly did. Nina certainly did. Nina actually tried convincing Sharon to convince Chance to pick a different line of work. But Sharon, she's so laid back. She was so supportive of his career and his choices, even though she didn't love it. And it was very much the same with Ray. She loved the man and she respected the decision and the risks that came along with his line of work. Super awkward moment, though, when Nina said, "Yeah, I know the last guy that you were involved with was a cop." And Sharon goes, "I wasn't involved with him. I was married to him." Whoops. Weird. Nina, if she hadn't had the, like, emotional upper hand of her son being in the hospital, that definitely would have been a foot in the mouth moment. Even more than Danny saying, acting like, "Gee, wow, being married to the chief of police must be risky. Can you imagine that?" No, I can't. Oh, boy. I kind of had the thought that maybe Nina would not be super approving of Chance dating Sharon, and Chris mentioned that deep down Nina must have, been feeling like she doesn't like that relationship. But I don't think it got expanded on. Maybe Nina doesn't like Sharon because they're almost the same age, and also Sharon's been married a dozen times before, so she's not exactly daughter-in-law material. But that did not, color Nina. I didn't feel like Nina really showed that in those scenes. I felt like she was respectful of Sharon. I think she respects Chance's choices, just not his career choices at this point. If it's gonna mean that he's just gonna keep putting himself in harm's way and putting her through the ringer over it every couple of years. Just want to say that it was so amazing to see Nina in those bedside scenes with Chance, especially, and in all of the scenes with Cricket, all of it. I just think that Nina is so totally full. She's so totally fleshed out. She's just so completely real to me. She's so totally present to me. Trisha Cass just portrays Nina with such depth that I just want her to stay on the show forever. I never want to be without her wisdom and her sense of humor again. Chance actually admitted that even he is thinking about switching careers again. He was rethinking it. Because he was rethinking it a couple of months ago, and then he kind of went back on those doubts that he had, and he decided to become the chief of police anyway. And, going back to months ago when he was reconsidering it, I always liked and still like the idea of maybe Chance putting the Chancellor in Chancellor Winters. He doesn't live in the Chancellor Mansion. He's the only Chancellor on the show. He doesn't live in the mansion. Can't he work at the company? But then he also has this apparent tech skill that he mentioned. So maybe he could go work at Daniel's company too. I'm not even sure what the point of making him chief of police was, if he was just going to get shot and then quit. But I can see him maybe going to work at Daniel's company because, well, Daniel is Summer's brother. And so then there'd be some reason for Summer and Chance to continue to interact. I wonder if Summer is going to continue to pursue Chance and Nina's going to prefer that. I wonder if maybe Nina's going to push those two together. Because it might not take that at all. Because when Chance opened his eyes, Summer was the first person that he saw, not Sharon. Oh, geez, just good that he saw a friendly face and not a nurse or something, says Sharon. But really, Summer was the first person that he saw. Yeah, Summer couldn't help showing up at the hospital. She had to be there to tear up at his bedside. Summer showed more emotion over the whole thing than Sharon did. But then again, I don't want to knock Sharon for her emotional maturity, which I think she had, and was very supportive, and I was impressed with Sharon. It's just interesting, the different reactions. And also, Sharon, it's kind of, well, she didn't start anything. She wasn't going to start anything with Summer. She walked in on them, and she didn't really say anything. But I do think that is the moment when Sharon realized that Summer's feelings for Chance were more than just a crush. I think Sharon didn't really need Summer's whole fake out daydream at the end of Friday's show. The heart wants what the heart wants. Sharon didn't need that to know that this girl is after her man. Of course, Danny does transcendental meditation. Of course he does. That is so Danny. He probably picked it up in the 80s. Sometime, somewhere in his world travels. Oh gosh, that tickles me. I love picturing it. Danny on a meditation pillow. Hey, what if Danny and Tucker sit down someday for a joint meditation sesh? That would be hilarious. Hey, throw Phyllis into the mix. She can sit in there too, on a pillow. After after she goes through her training? No. Because isn't that also so Danny? Phyllis was like, oh, hey, maybe you could teach. No, let me imagine a hair twirl. Hey, maybe you could teach me how to transcendentally meditate. And Danny says, no, you should see a certified specialist. Phyllis was like inside of herself thinking, damn, I don't want to see a certified specialist. I just wanted to be alone in a quiet room with you somewhere, dummy. He was not picking up on the hint, or then again, maybe he was and he was avoiding it. I like that Danny's being more direct with Phyllis, though, because he did tell her to stop calling Chris the bug this week. And I appreciated that because I feel like Christine deserves better than that. I don't feel like Christine's picking a fight with Phyllis. I feel like Phyllis is constantly ragging on Christine. Phyllis is constantly bringing up Christine, acting like she can't get away from her. Well, then stop bringing her up, Phyllis. This is you. This is your obsession with Christine. Phyllis is so insecure around Danny, and she is so blindly jealous of Christine, and she has always been so jealous of Christine. We saw it actually 2 weeks ago in the flashback where Phyllis was in Christine's office, and Phyllis actually said something to Christine like, what is it about you? What is it about you that men just throw themselves at you? And I can remember that being a sentiment that she felt at the time, like, ugh, what is it about her? Like, Christine is the dream girl next door. Of course, all men want her, of course. And then there's Phyllis, who is much more of an acquired taste. But both attractive in their own ways, but so opposite, you know. And I think that makes for great drama. I love this so much. Danny and Christine are hanging out again, not dating. Definitely not a date. Danny just hates to eat alone. And Christine just wanted a burger. So she made a reservation for a burger. Let's just pause and wrap your brain around that. Christine wanted a burger. So she made a reservation. Amazing. And of course, Phyllis ended up seeing them through the window, like looking out, you know, looking on the outside in, from being the outside looking in, which is representative of the whole thing. I find Danny to be so charming. I find Danny to be so very patient with them both. And he does seem to genuinely want to give Phyllis a chance. He seems genuinely to have, you know, fallen for Phyllis's I'm just not that person anymore routine. And also, he also seems genuinely to not want to push Christine into anything before she's ready. But yet you can see that, you know, Danny's got this extra sparkle in his eyes when he's looking at her. And she has this extra sparkle and this girlishness. And I almost saw a little bit of seductiveness, just like playfulness in her with him. It's so beautiful. I love it. And who knows? You know, they could just live right off into the sunset together and it could be happily ever after. But I think it's equally possible that maybe Danny could become exhausted by Christine keeping him at arm's length all the time. And that maybe Danny will end up preferring someone like Phyllis, who knows what she wants. Christine will always have Danny's heart. But Phyllis will always have Danny's kid. And that's a scenario that seems to be playing out as well with Lily and Daniel and Heather. Lily seems to have his heart, but Heather has his kid. And Heather has the benefit of not always needing to be standing behind a bag or a laptop or a giant bowl of apples or a giant moving box. It's getting hilariously obvious. I love it. I love the camera trickery and the creative ways that we are masking Crystal Khalil's pregnancy. It's delightful, actually. I find it to be a delightful element now that I tune in for and look forward to. How are we going to creatively hide this today? Giant bowl of apples. Wow, I never would have thought of that. Just stack apples. So good. And all of the scenes in Daniel's apartment this week, so much fun. So much fun. Although, oops, somebody at Y&R, I hope you're listening, somebody left the penthouse number on the outside of the door of Daniel's new apartment. It still says penthouse 1 on the outside of the door. That is Nate's penthouse, which is the penthouse right across from Lily's penthouse, not downstairs, as we are being told. I am certain that Daniel is not quite a penthouse man. Daniel is much more mid-rise. He's high-tech but comfortable. That's the vibe. Finally, Sally had something to decorate. This was genius on Y&R's part. Just empty out the apartment. We'll let Daniel move into it and let Sally decorate it. This was just fun watching Sally and Chloe bouncing ideas around. I felt those scenes it was just a vacation. And so much so that Chloe said, ugh, forget Marchetti. I don't want to work with stuffy Summer. I want to vibe out with Sally again. And I'm all for it, if that's what Sally wants. The only problem, though, is that, okay, well, the design project is fun for now, but what happens when it's all finished and the last curtain is hung? Then what will Chloe and Sally do? Because we all know, actually, what the answer to that is. All there will be for them to do is talk about Adam. And by talking about Adam, I mean Chloe nagging Sally about Adam. How about we take this Y&R chat to a happy note? And by note, I mean musical note. How adorable was Tessa singing to little baby Arya to test out the new hearing aids? I was dying. Just absolutely dying at both of their squishy little faces. I just wanted to squish their faces. Everybody's face. Squish, squish, squish. I literally was watching the screen, watching the baby, reacting to her singing, reacting to various things, and I was thinking, she can hear. This is amazing. The baby can hear now. And I had to check myself. I literally had a moment where I had to remind myself that this is not really real. The real child can hear, Allie. This is camera trickery. They're just editing this to get you emotionally. And it worked. That's how deep in I was. It worked. Yeah, I really felt Mariah and Tessa's joy. I mean, oh my gosh, watching a baby hearing for the first time. I mean, I felt the baby experiencing the world in a whole new way, you know. I mean, just emotionally, I thought these scenes were very effective, very, very effective. I appreciated Sharon's support of Mariah and Tessa, especially because they were nervous that whether or not the hearing aids were even going to work. And then they brought the baby to Crimson Lights for Sharon to see, and Sharon was clearly prepared, even though she was giving them all positive thoughts, like there's no reason to think this won't work. She was clearly also preparing for a worst case scenario because she had the sign language for Grandma ready to go. Oh, Sharon's practically perfect. Honestly, I thought even the doctor was very warm and very real, because it's just one of those things you certainly can't imagine what this scenario would be like as a parent until it's happening to you. But, you know, and just the little things like, oh, well, yeah, the baby's not going to want to have this thing in her ear at first. That's going to take some getting used to. And then the doctor explaining the training process of well, you just put it in for little bits at a time until she gets used to it and until having them in all the time begins to feel more natural. Yeah, wow. So, crisis averted. So, what's next for Mariah and Tessa? And might I suggest a celebratory party for Arya? Watch me light a match. I love that line. Couldn't believe it came out of Kyle's mouth last week. Watch me light a match. She was talking to Tucker, like trying to prove that he was willing to blow things up with his family and with Jabot. Tucker was doubting him and he said, oh yeah, watch me light a match. Wow, it's like a whole new Kyle. Hard to believe. And hard to believe only three people guessed it right. Tony, Dolores, and Sue W. Congratulations, you three. Or that's who I got the entries from. Because normally Henry is on this list. And since this is the first time that the answers are coming through on the new server, I'm a little bit nervous that I missed somebody. And I went back through every single entry that I received, and I only got 3. So I sorry if there was any hiccups with the website. Maybe we'll chalk any of that up to if there were any glitches. But let's try again for this week. As far as I know, everything with the website's working okay. I'm getting notifications of things, and things seem to be working all right. So let's give it another try with this quote this upcoming week. Who said this? I'll calm down when I feel like it. I don't know why, but that made me laugh. I'll calm down when I feel like it. It just felt like, oh yeah, you can just hear somebody saying that in real life. Somebody tells you to calm down. I'll calm down when I feel like it. Well, who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com. You'll see the place right there where there's a little form where you can do your entry, click submit. And if you have any troubles with that form or anything else on the website at yrchat.com, just let me know. Hopefully everything is resolved, and I will give the winners their shout out next week. All right, and on the topic of shout outs, I have to give a special birthday shout out to Colleen. I haven't heard from you in a while, Colleen, but your birthday is tomorrow. Are you thinking of us? We are thinking of you. Maybe I'll hear from you a little toward the end of the year. You're good at the year-end predictions, and believe it or not, we're going to be at the end of the year, for the following year, like 2024. It's going to be here before we know it. I can't believe that. But let's get to some comments. Oh my goodness, it's been weeks since I had a chance to read comments, so I'm really excited about that. Let's start on a happy note. About Aria. Victoria says, Tessa and Mariah were so sweet with baby Aria. The audiologist's instructions were detailed and very realistic. As a viewer, I felt as if I was at the appointment with them. I loved when Tessa sang the lullaby to Aria and realized that she could hear. Seeing Mariah and Tessa on my screen today was nice. Yeah, you know, I really liked the doctor. I liked the room that they had set up. It seemed like probably a better looking version of a pediatrician's office, but I thought the set looked nice too. T. Nicole says, I don't know if it's because I'm a new mom, but I could not stop gushing over the baby in Monday's episode. So much cuteness. It might be, yeah, if you've got like baby moans. It's just giving you extra baby love. I bet you wanted to reach out and squish some faces too, T. Nicole. Congratulations too. I hope everything's going really good with you and your little one. And Sharad says, I so completely agree about baby Arya. No matter which twin they use for the scenes, they're so freaking adorable. Also, I love how one of them is mesmerized by Kate Fairbanks Tessa's fingernails. I think it's the polish. Yeah, well, she does have very remarkable clicky fingernails, so I can see that a baby would be like, aw. And that's so interesting. Like, okay, there's Allie twins playing the baby role. I just don't think about things like that. I'm so in the moment with it. I didn't even think about the fact that it's 2 different babies, but of course it is. My goodness. Okay, well, let's jump back to Kyle. There wasn't a whole lot of action on the Abbott forefront this week, but last week I asked you guys, Whose side do you think Kyle is really on? Is he Team Tucker, or is he having a secret plan to help the Abbotts? 57% of you predict that Kyle is really, truly on Team Tucker. Tony says, tough question. I think Kyle is Team Tucker because he's going along with Audra's suggestion that he come to the Tucker side of taking over Jabot, thus betraying his family. But I think ultimately he is Team Abbott because he wants Jabot, and he wants to be in control of Jabot, which he thinks is his family company, and he's the rightful sole heir to getting that position by any means necessary. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Victoria says, I think Kyle is Team Tucker light. He's most likely Team Kyle. Kyle is so full of himself that he's willing to betray his family to someone they despise. It doesn't make sense Tucker and Audra have him hoodwinked. How can Kyle believe that Audra wants to work with him again, and when she was so easy to let him go? How can Kyle trust Tucker when he knows Tucker's history with his family? This is a good point, Victoria. How could Kyle be so easily hoodwinked? Yeah, Audra disposed of him rather quickly, and it's not like they have some great romance that's based on trust. They're sleeping together, and it's not like he has any reason to trust Tucker. What makes Kyle think that he's not going to help them out, and then they're just going to turn around and stab him in the back and kick him out? It seems very naive. But Kamna says, I don't think Kyle has the maturity yet to choose family over his own ego. Victor Newman is Kyle's father's nemesis, yet Kyle came to Genoa City plotting with Victor. He didn't hesitate to strike a deal with Victor earlier this year, and that was despite Summer being the voice of reason. This may be the situation that sobers up Kyle, but luckily for us, he's got a long road to redemption. In the meantime, I'm rooting for Billy. I think this smacks of Jack losing the company all those years ago. Maybe Kyle is going to do something foolish, thinking he's going to help the company or thinking he's going to take it over and be the big guy to save the day. And ultimately, he's going to end up losing it and screwing them all over. And who knows, it could take them years to get it back. Maybe Kyle is more like Smiling Jack than he realizes, and not in the good ways. Well, Sharon W. says, Allie and fellow chatters, please help me out. Are next week's previews alluding to the fact that Claire's aunt is Nikki's sister? I'm really confused. And what location is Nikki in when Claire attacks her? I don't recognize it. Well, Ellen responds, it's been ages since we've seen Casey. I guess they can fill in whatever they want for a backstory there, but Claire wouldn't be a blood relation to Nikki unless she were Casey's daughter rather than niece, right? So she must be a niece via Casey's husband, since there are no other siblings to Nikki and Casey. Isn't that right? I didn't recognize the location. Yeah, I didn't recognize the location either. Claire also referred to her aunt's name being Jordan, so I guess Casey couldn't be the aunt. I have no idea how Claire is connected to Nikki. I have no idea what her motive is going to be for needling Nikki Newman in the neck, but I'm ready to watch it. Oh, Sharon W. also says, great screenshot, Allie, of Victor with the 3 siblings in the athletic club. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for complimenting that screen cap, because I did make sure that I got the exact right moment where I think Victor was pointing at them and everyone was in it. I always like a wide shot where I can get as many characters as possible. And also that validates for me that people like the screenshots that I'm getting. I just feel like I'm constantly, I just go, oh, that's the moment. That's the tiniest little moment, but I must screen cap it and save it and archive it forever. So thank you for appreciating the screenshots. Shelly says, whoa, can we have Angry Nate all the time, please? Way to bring out the acting chops, Mr. Dominic. I'm embarrassed to say that often I fast forward his scenes. Sorry, Allie. I've never quite connected with this actor until this episode. I can't tell if Nate was a part of some big plan or not, but who cares? Y&R could just make him perpetually angry and I'm all in. Yeah, he was great. His arms were flailing all over. It was like, it felt real. He felt like a real guy who was just tired of this. I feel like Nate got kind of screwed over. Not kind of. He got definitely screwed over there. And I liked seeing his big over-the-top reaction. Nate is very poised. He always has the perfect response for everything. He always puts his hands together. It's like his bedside manner. I think of him. He's still always like, he's had an entire career in medicine. And he probably needs to be very calm and very pointed and precise for a career like that. And to see him let that go, and to let those arms flail out and to just get mad. Yeah, that was a very different side of Nate, and it was very, very notable. Naomi says, where will Victoria be without Nate? She doesn't have many options for male companionship. Newman Media surely has a dating app available for her to try out. Naomi, this is exactly the type of comment that I love and have missed. And that makes me appreciate Y&R Chat. Yes. Does Newman Media have a dating app that Victoria can use in the post-breakup era of her and Nate? Yes, that is brilliant and funny, and thank you. Just thank you. Oh, here's Henry. Henry says, Elena was spot on long ago when she tried her best to get Nate to see that getting too deep in with the Newman dynasty would be a huge mistake. Now, just as predicted, his involvement with the Newmans has come back to bite him in the ass. As a result of this, Nate being fired, I would expect to see Elena coming back in more scenes, as it appears she's been missing in action. However, I would not like to see the two reunite. Just let Elena be content with a big I told you so. Yeah, I was shocked to see Elena this week. Sure, her hair's different. A little straighter, a little longer. And she has that same very calm demeanor. I must just give you the information in a very calm and precise way. And I think that's maybe why it was notable that Elena had such a big reaction with Nate. Of course, she had a reason to be. But yeah, it was good to see Elena again. And I imagine that she is going to be around for a big I told you so, probably next week. Dolores says, Nate, how did it feel when the bus ran over you? Not good. Really, really not good. It is, and you finally realize that when it all comes down to it, it will always be a family with the Newmans. You're just the hired hand, and it should have been a clue that if they can treat Adam with such nastiness and disrespect, you're not immune. You put all your faith and trust in the prima donna Victoria, but you found out that it was all a farce when it comes to preservation of self. Welcome to the reality of the Den of Vipers family, minus Adam, for he is not acceptable to them either, not even tolerated. Now I hope that Adam will stop trying to be in, love his father from afar, and go his own way. Yeah, I know that's the thing about it all. How can the kids forgive Victor? Why is it like, okay, let's rally around? Are they all just thinking, oh, I'm just so glad that he's healthy? But, I mean, nobody outside of Victoria is even mad about it. And to talk about Adam specifically, Adam just seems like, all right, good, I got approval out of this. He seems happy that he got Victor's approval out of this, that Victor patted him on the head for the job well done, for passing the test. He doesn't seem mad about it either, and they really all should be. Sharon W. says, newsflash, Adam finally defended himself to Nick. He asked Nick if he remembered that he donated his kidney to Faith and took a bullet for Victor. Nick said, well, that happened a long time ago. And Adam said, tell that to my scar. Bravo, Adam. Yeah, really. Adam donated a kidney to Faith, took a bullet for Victor. But what have you done for me lately? Sue W. says, Allie, I'm still laughing at your recent musing on a scenario where Nikki would find herself attracted to Adam. That would be true soapy soap stuff indeed, and I love it. The only other comparable soapy soap scenario that I can think of would be if Sally gets back together with Adam, has conflicted goodbye sex with Nick, and then is pregnant with Nick's baby, revealed from yet another oh-so-angsty paternity test, of course. Then all the Nick-raising Christian bashers could be vindicated when Adam raises that baby. Soapy messes. I love them. Can you imagine that? Sally has made goodbye sex with Nick and gets pregnant. Oh, the whole thing playing out over again in reverse. I don't know if I could handle it, but I could handle that Nikki crush on Adam. I please, Y&R, listen to that. Make that happen, because that is a gem of an ideal. You will never regret it. The viewers will lose their mind. Give Nikki a moment of thinking and realizing that Adam's sexy. It would change the whole dynamic of the family. All they'd have to do is one scene, and it would change everything. Different topic. Sharon W. says, Chloe, I don't remember Sally asking you to join on her new designing adventure. Stop crowding Sally. One day she may begin to use her own thoughts to guide her. Yeah, I liked Sally's declaration this week that she's done feeling sorry for herself. She's done moping, and she's going to get back to being Sally Spectra, darn it. Yeah, I hope that's the direction that she continues to go. And maybe part of that is choosing not to work with Chloe, who clearly wants to steer her personal life into a direction that is just becoming inappropriate. The ways that Chloe tries to control Sally's personal life it just goes beyond friendship. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like them as partners. I'm just tired of the same conversation that they have over and over again. There's only two things they're going to be able to talk about: designing or Adam. And we've talked about Adam. Chloe has made her opinion known. There's no point in continuing to go over it, and yet she does. Another topic. Oh, Diana says, I love the jealousy that we see between Sharon and Summer. I especially love when I see Sharon being jealous of Summer. It's very believable and fun to watch. What wasn't very believable was the visit we saw with Sharon, Nina, and Christine when they went to see Chance. They just got to the hospital and they were there all of a minute. Sharon never even held Chance's hand. Was Chance supposed to be in a coma? And if he was, then how did Elena know that he'd be okay? Also, immediately after he woke up, Elena told everyone to leave so that Chance could rest. Is that what would normally happen after somebody just got up from consciousness? Chance looked so great after getting shot, didn't he? They could have roughed him up a little bit and made him look a little more realistic. It was nice to see him again. I always enjoy seeing him in his beautiful blue eyes. Oh my God, Diana, he had the beautiful blue eyes, and then his hair. I almost screen capped it for a photo cap, but his hair was like puffed. Their idea of just got shot bedhead was amazing. His hair had so much height and oomph right in the front too. I said, this looks like a man who just got shot through the chest. Yes. This is the hairstyle of a man who has just been shot through the middle of his chest. And that the whole Chance getting shot thing is so fast. And so there was nothing about it for 2 episodes. And then they mentioned the jewelry heist at the very end. I don't know. Why'd they make him chief of police? All they did was shoot him for some quickie drama. It just didn't have the impact of yesteryear when someone got shot and you actually believe something might happen to them. And what was the scenario? And Nina didn't even ask any questions until Chance woke up. She didn't ask the doctors what happened. She didn't ask anybody else what happened. It was a little... Chance's shooting definitely gave you that Sharon versus Summer moment, and that was good. But most everything else about it was... Dolores says, I love the scene with Summer pouring her heart out to an unconscious Chance. It was amazingly touching and so heartfelt. And when Chance opened his eyes and looked at Summer and she was there at his side and their smiles were at each other, and it just sealed this deeper connection between them as she held his hand to her heart. Sharon witnessed this, and I could tell from the look on her face that she understood something special passed between Summer and Chance. This is going to be a fantastic triangle to watch. I'm rooting for Chance and Summer to be the final outcome. Me too. Me too, Dolores. I like Summer and Chance a lot. And yeah, I think that was the best part of the whole thing. We needed to see Summer and her feelings for Chance and how deep they are. And Sharon came off as a little, not cold, I don't know, a little less concerned. And I'm sure we can chalk it up to her having been involved with, involved with another cop. But yeah, I completely agree. That was the whole point, was Summer and Chance, and that part was effective. Something else that's very effective, if you ask me, Danny and Christine. And Kamna says, "Dear Y&R, all I want for Christmas is a reenactment of the Lady and the Tramp romantic Italian dinner with Christine and Danny. Thank you, Kamna." Yes, they are so that. Lady and the Tramp, they are so that. A romantic Italian dinner. Yes, with Danny's famous spaghetti sauce. Oh, this is so much fun, you guys. It's so, so nice to see you again, to be seen again, and to do the whole Y&R chat. Thank you so much for sticking with me through all of the crazy website stuff. I think it's all working out pretty good, and I don't even want to think about it. I want to put it in my rear view mirror and just move on from here. Into holidays in Genoa City. You know they got to be decorating for Thanksgiving and Christmas soon. I mean, what is it? Next week is the last full week, and then it'll be Thanksgiving, and I'm so looking forward to holidays in Genoa City. It's going to be all good. And holidays with my Y&R chatters, too. Oh. Thanks, everybody, too, for all of the positive Y&R chat comments that really helped carry me through all of the madness. And I'm just so happy to have my little home back, and happy to have my space where my friends can come and leave comments and have fun and participate in all of the other little games and stuff. I just want to smush all your faces. Here, I'll get close to the camera. You can smush my face too. Ready? I'll make big cheeks. There, you can smush my face. All right, okay, everybody. I love you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye.